Hello everybody. This is actually a nighttime video, which we haven't been able to do in a while, mainly because of lighting. Stop, Jack. Jack is up here. We are on the bed and gonna change this little girl and have a little chat. But anyway, I was saying lighting, there hasn't actually been a light in this room at all. Maybe you can help me, like, if I can find the remote. I'm gonna keep it on this light setting, but let me cycle through. I just added this lamp and I can't, like my eyes now, I've seen, like my eyes feel like they're burned. So maybe you can tell me which one gives the best lighting. So this is the first one. That's the second one. Obviously that's way too yellow and warm. Back to the first one. See, I'm stuck between this one and that one. This one still feels a little bit warm, but I'm gonna stick with it. Anyway, so took care of that. Also got some daylight bulbs for the lamp or the overhead light in the living room so that it's not bright yellow there. You gonna say hello out there either, so we can do photos and stuff if we feel like it without, after the sun has gone down. He's a little crazy. But I'm gonna change Anais. Anais is the Miracle Sculpt by Laura Lee Eagles. And have a little chat. This is one of my favorite dolls that I've ever had. She's very realistic and obviously painted with very rich colors. I just love her. And what I want to chat about is the other side of selling. No, Jack. He's going to drive me bonkers. So, I know it becomes tiresome for some people to see collectors selling all the time. It even becomes tiresome talking about it all the time because the topic has been covered so many times, talking about why we sell, what makes you a real collector, how long do you have to keep your dolls for it to count, and all of that stuff. But I've been thinking about it. Stop it. I've been thinking about it because my selling has picked up quite a bit, and buying. And sometimes the cycle, the amount of time that I actually keep somebody in the collection can be very short. And it's never the intention, right? And you can see that it almost starts to water down the excitement of seeing someone get a doll when you think, well, I wonder how long I'll hang on to this one. And I'm talking about myself here, by the way. So I've noticed some of my thoughts around it. Like, for example, being self-conscious about it, or like I definitely don't come on here and announce when I've sold a doll anymore. It just sort of happens, and maybe I'll mention it later. But I used to do box packings and everything. And a lot of us will reach this point where we are satisfied with the collection, we're happy with the collection, then all of a sudden this whole process starts up again. And so one of the other sides of selling, you get these questions, I thought you loved that baby, why are you selling? Or something like that. The other side, for me, I know that I'm not talking about everybody, and I do certainly admire, that's probably a good enough word, certainly respect the collectors who really are unfazed by any impression that certain people may get. But I have noticed like a thought internally about myself about, like, at this point nobody's safe, and not even necessarily taking myself seriously, or maybe being self-conscious about that. Very low grade, certainly nothing over the top, or I wouldn't keep doing it and trying to, you know, do what makes me happy. So obviously that rules the day. But that is another side of the loop that you get caught in, where you are selling dolls regularly. I'm going to touch on a little bit more of what you can assume when you see somebody selling. You know, I'm not divulging any secrets or anything that you guys probably haven't thought of already, but we'll chat about it. You can assume that maybe the painting style wasn't to their favorite preference, or the sculpt wasn't for them. People tend to accept the explanation, you know, I'm not bonding, is a way that we put it. You can assume that maybe that they found another doll that they like more, or maybe it's a, you know, a dream version of a kit. Like in my instance, that's about to happen, where I didn't get the one that I really wanted, but I found other one that was like also really cute, and then the one I really like was really in love with came available. So you got to make room. The other thing you got to make room for is your bank account. Having enough in there to make that happen. So you could assume that there's a money thing, limited doll funds, or maybe something's going on in somebody's personal life where they need the money. And unless you're about to give them money so that they can keep their dolls, you just got to deal with that. Or buy the doll. If you love it so much, then that's always an option too, is to buy it. And the third is probably space. You know, said it before, there's always more gorgeous dolls coming out, new sculpts coming out, new artists, your taste changes. Maybe you are trying out different styles and then figure out what you like best. And so it'll fluctuate like that. Some people get bored after a while. I mean, this is a static replica of a newborn in one moment. Never changes, never moves, never grows. So sometimes you're ready for something different. The bored thing, although you can see something, absorb it, you know, experience it, and move on pretty quickly sometimes if you have been in the hobby for a bit, or if that's just your personality type. But usually that's more like if you've had the same one for a while and you're ready for something else. But speaking for myself, there's only so many dolls that one can house unless they have extra room in the house, and space is not an issue. Then there's also the emotional overwhelm of having so many. It changes the hobby. It changes the experience when you have a whole bunch of dolls versus one, for example. It's a different bond. If you like that word bond. It's a different enjoyment experience, a different type of experience if you don't like that word bond. I don't particularly like it, but I think it works pretty well. And for me, there is a bond. I still get those comments about playing with a doll when you're an adult. I don't know that changing and photographing is exactly playing. I don't do role play, but that's okay. You can call it playing if you want to. Yes, I do still like it. I don't really play video games anymore. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to video games, though, maybe more than dolls, but one could argue that that's childish. I don't. The only things that I really classify as childish are behaviors, lack of self-control or lack of conscientiousness, which actually happens to play into people who feel the need to make nasty comments to people, but that's not what this video is about. And then there's another side of selling that I was thinking about too. And I have on several occasions sold a baby that I wasn't really necessarily going to sell, but the opportunity came up, which is, it's always good to be able to recoup a little bit and financially, but the desire of the other collector to have and appreciate that doll and is a huge plus. And sometimes maybe their appreciation may exceed, mine if that bond isn't there. And so even if it's not a motivation, a nice byproduct of selling is that experience that you're able to facilitate with the person who buys the baby from you and then falls in love and has an entirely new experience. And I think it's awesome to be able to facilitate that for somebody else, you know what I mean? So, like I sold a doll recently that was super cute. It was a nice addition, but wasn't like, anyway, obviously I was willing to part. I was willing to part because that dream baby came up and I moved to action as quickly as I could. But the new mom is like head over heels, very focused, like really enjoying that baby. And I think that's awesome. And that experience is happening with another friend of mine too, who has a doll coming from me that I really wasn't necessarily planning on selling, but everything kind of lined up to be a win-win situation. And she's really excited. And so even though I still had some trepidation about parting with the baby because I loved it, it really made it so much easier when you know that you're like a part of somebody else's happiness, So let's move this plastic for a minute and just enjoy her. I'm blanking on her middle name, Anais. Oh, Tal, T-A-L, Anais Tal. I don't even know what brand this is that I put her in. It doesn't really matter, but we could take a quick peek. As soon as I'm done staring at her. I really never ever saw myself getting this sculpt because I didn't think I could look at this face like frozen in this like uncomfortable moment perpetually. Wow, her eyelids look so purple right now. But I just love her. Sorry, you guys, I'm just appreciating her. And she's so realistic. Like even, I mean, right here, I can tell she's vinyl, but she is so realistic. Oh, that's her onesie. I'm like, this is not Carter's. How much you want to bet? Oh, here. Oh, it's mayoral. Newborn. 0 to 1 month. Some velour. So that's the happening. So my favorite version of a doll that came available that I alluded to is going to be here tomorrow. So I'm really excited for that. And I feel like I'm kind of vibing with my preferences, at least as they are right now. And what would be awesome would be to continue to add slowly. But you just don't know what's going to happen. Now, we would never have you sleeping on your stomach like this for long if you were real. Look at those fingers. All right. So I think that's all that I have to say. Really, just that's the kinder side, the more positive side of selling, and of, and also to remember too, when you see somebody selling, and maybe if you're thinking, like I used to think, man, if I could just have one really good doll, I'd be happy, and people are just like getting rid of them left and right. But you know what, like these dolls are savings accounts too. And that's the nature of it too. You work towards the dolls you once dream of having, for me anyways, and you can enjoy them as you slowly grow or up your collection. But bringing that enjoyment to somebody else is a very nice perk. She's so gorgeous. All right, well, we will for sure be back tomorrow because I'm going to share that baby with you for those who want to see. And then my dream baby is coming. She's in customs. She's not in the US yet, but she will be here soon. We've got a couple of outfits waiting for her. So when that baby comes, and then there's one more who's getting final details now, and that artist is in the United States. So who knows? I could have everything pop all at once, but for sure tomorrow we'll be back. And so we'll see you then. So sending out lots of love. Have a great night, and bye for now.